Somebody asked me the other day, they said, how do I become more successful? And I said, when you're feeling really, really, really good, you have to start doing less. And here's why. Because when you're feeling good, you overdo it, you burn yourself out, then you need to take 2 weeks off, then you feel bad about the fact that you took 2 weeks off, then you feel good again and you overdo it, and it becomes this perpetual cycle that is jeffing your success.
However, it also works both ways. When you're down and out, you also have to do the minimums. So to Kevin's point, when you're feeling really good and you're flying high, don't overdo it. Stay humble, don't overdo it. But when you're down and out, not feeling well, you still got to hit your minimums.
Next Level Nation, today for episode number 2047, one way you're burning yourself out. We had a group coaching session last night, and this is no shade to any of the other group coachings, because we've had amazing people throughout. Maybe my favorite group ever.
Whoa.
Yeah, it is my favorite group. This is my favorite group ever. I love you if you've been in other groups and you're a good person. I love you. But this one is something special. And last night was our first connection session. And somebody said, I feel like I'm in this cycle of burnout, then feeling bad and having shame, then being inspired and motivated, and then it just becomes this cycle over and over and over and over again. And she said, how did you guys do it? Like, how did you guys get there? And
massive pain and failure.
Massive. And I said that. I said, look, I don't think using us as an example is going to give anybody anything they need right now. But I said, if anything, we focus on consistent 70, 80% days. Mm-hmm. Even when we're feeling good. I don't do 120%. I mean, again, the 70% now is way different than I thought it was going to be. There's still a lot going on. But I used to have someone in my life. They would get injured from over exercising. They'd be out of exercise for 2, 3, 4 weeks. They'd go to physical therapy. They'd get it taken care of. And then instead of coming back and walking a mile, they'd run 4. Get hurt. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And what you're not seeing is behind the scenes, that is drastically affecting their self-belief, and that is drastically affecting their self-worth, and it's hurting everything in their life. It's hurting their routines, it's hurting their discipline, it's hurting everything. That's what we're talking about today. It's more an issue of when you're out of the arena for a long enough period of time, you start to feel shame about it, and then you want to jump right back in. And I think the self-belief piece of this is super important, because if you think, okay, I just lost all of that time, I just lost all of that progress, I just lost all of that momentum, now I can't be successful, that's an awareness that I think we have to understand. That 2 weeks off is not great, but it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world that you took 2 weeks off. It can be the end of it if you take 2 weeks off and then you go hard for a week and then you take 2 weeks off. You're not going to get that many results if you do that. It just doesn't work that way.
At Next Level Live, I said, all of us tomorrow, Sunday, hypothetical universe, all of us, everyone in the room, we're going to work out. We're going to the gym for 9 straight hours. It's going to be brutal. I said that would not change your life at all. However, if I took that same 9 hours and I broke it into half-hour increments and you did 18 days straight of a half hour of exercise, that could create a habit that could change your whole life. Tortoise and the hare thing. Now imagine in the tortoise and the hare analogy, the tortoise was getting a little faster. So instead of the tortoise just being super, super, super consistent and super, super, super persistent, imagine that same story, tortoise and the hare. Hare is starts and stops, arrogant, starts and stops, naps, starts and stops, talent. The tortoise is just unrelenting, just going along. Now imagine, same thing, except the tortoise gets a little faster all along the way. And sometimes the tortoise isn't feeling well and it goes a little slower. Sometimes it's feeling really good. It goes a little faster, but it stays consistent. But the next level of the tortoise is a little faster, little faster, little faster, little faster. That's why I always talk about trend lines. And I'll explain it again just for anyone who is a new listener. Your weight, your bank account, your net worth, your relationship, it's ups and downs. So on a graph over time, it's ups and downs and ups and downs and ups and downs. Your mood, ups and downs. Mm-hmm. You and I were meeting at 12:30. I think you got here at 12:35. But there was a moment 20 minutes prior to that where I was like, wow, I'm fucking tired. And I got some little caffeine to try to pick my state up. Now, again, it's not always with caffeine. I also could do something else, whatever. But caffeine,
usually caffeine.
Stimulant timing is very important, I think. Yeah. But my point is everything is ups and downs. Everything. You're not going to be 100% all the time. You're also not going to be 20% all the time. Every time I ever get sick, it's always like, damn, why wasn't I more grateful for when I wasn't sick? What was easy for me 3 days ago is now so hard for me to fucking do. And I know other people have been there. When you are up and you have a peak state, use it, but don't overuse it. Don't abuse it. When you're down and out and you're struggling, you still got to hit your minimums. You still got to be the tortoise. And I am convinced that is one of the most important success principles in the game. Is just consistency is an absolute superpower.
For sure. And eventually your minimums, for lack of better phrasing, become more valuable. In the beginning, the minimum might be, I don't know if I have a good example. Like for us, the minimum is record a podcast episode. That's always the minimum. I can't miss. Now, do we do one every day? We release one every day. Do we record one every day? No. We usually don't record on Sunday, and I won't say, oftentimes we don't record on Saturday. Some days we do. But that is one of the minimums. But now some of the other minimums are, like for me, batch WhatsApp. Essentially, I look at WhatsApp every single day. Some days it's mayhem, and it's like, oh no, here we go. Other days, I've been doing this where I batch it at like 8 p.m., and then I know when I go to sleep that there's no messages that I'm going to wake up to in the morning, most likely.
It's one way to cure anxiety.
It helps. I mean, you either look at it now or you look at it later. Like, let's look at it now to avoid what we might be able to solve now for later. But I just think it's not about, this is what I said to the person who asked the question. I said, we have to really check in with, are you thinking of how can I be successful today? Or are you thinking of how can I prolong the amount of time I do this for? Because those are two very different conversations depending on where you are. If you're literally saying, I have to do everything today that I can possibly do to be successful, cool, if that's sustainable. If that's sustainable, cool. Other days, it's how do I just make sure I don't lose any momentum? And we have to figure out what side of that ratio are you on. If you feel good and you say, okay, I have this and this and this and this and this, and I'm going to do all this stuff, and then I do that for the course of a week, and I burn myself out, I start resenting my goals, I start resenting my habits, I start resenting my routines, I start resenting my passions, I start resenting my purpose. Obviously, you're not going to want to do them. But what if we leaned so far into self-awareness that we woke up and we said, I'm feeling really fucking good today. And every time I feel really good, I go to the proverbial gym and I try to squat more weight than I can handle and I blow my shit out. Not going to do that today. I'm going to do a little bit less this time.
Yeah. Hello, NLU listener. Thank you, as always, for listening to Next Level University. Real quick, I just want to jump in and let you know about the Next Level Dreamliner. This is a journal that I use every single day. Achieve your dreams 90 days at a time. It breaks down your dreams into goals, milestones, and daily habits. We hope you enjoy it. The link will be in the show notes.
It's always dangerous saying do less. It's always, always, always dangerous. But if you're somebody who overwhelms yourself by doing more and then you do nothing, doing less, to Alan's point, is still going to move the trend line in the right direction where, again, Lori Harder said this when we interviewed her a long time ago. She said consistent 70% days are better than spotty 100% days. And if you run the math on that, I'm not a mathematician, but if you run the math on that, if you do 70% days, that's 490. 7 times 7, 49. Even if you do 4 100% days and then 3 0% days, that's only 400. So 70% days will get you further than spotty 100s for sure. And it's just a matter of how do we get that to land within ourselves. Logically, it makes a lot of sense. Emotionally, it doesn't always.
I was in the gym earlier today doing push day, and I was feeling really good. Nice. I don't know why, but for some reason today, I hit several PRs. I have PRs for my 20s and PRs for my 30s. So this is PR in my 30s.
Interesting.
Yeah, I had to reset.
Interesting.
Very thrilled about it. But anyways, so I call it a PR because it's Alan in his 30s. PR pisses me off. But I was doing close grip bench, and I had already PR'd and a couple other things. And I was like, I'm feeling really good today. I think I'm going to put on 185 for close grip. And I was like, Alan, don't be dumb. Emili's on the other side of the gym. No, don't be dumb. So I ended up only putting 45, a 10, and a 15.
10 and a 15, a 10 and a 5?
55, 60, 120 plus 45. So you're looking at 165. So I ended up putting 165. I got it up for 5 by myself, unassisted. But the old me probably would have put on the 185 and only gotten 2 or 3. And it might have gotten injured. Yeah. I think it's arrogant. I do. And I don't mean to call anyone arrogant. I think I'm arrogant. And I don't think I'm super arrogant. I think that sometimes when you feel really good, you do. You don't conserve. It's offense and defense. When you feel good, play a little offense. See if you can do a trick, switch, kick, or whatever. Insert metaphor here. I'm thinking soccer. I don't know why I'm thinking soccer. But you're on offense. Yeah, maybe try a 360 dunk. If you're feeling really good, give it a shot. But don't only try to dunk from the foul line. Resource yourself. Take care of yourself. And when you wake up and you feel like shit, one of my clients is not feeling well. He canceled our call on Monday. He actually had his wife email me. And I said, okay, no stress. Let's see if we can pull it off on Thursday. Because she said, can we reschedule it later in the week? I would rather you show up less than ideal and imperfect than not show up at all. And I do think a huge, huge, huge advantage is just keeping momentum when you're down and out. That's a huge advantage.
I have a question. We don't have time to do it because it's a deeper question. But what's the difference between maximizing and optimizing?
Nice.
That's one of the things that I have adopted. Again, 35, Alan's 36. Things are different than they were in the 20s.
Are you 35 still?
I'm still 35. My birthday's in August, so I still got like a fairly good amount of time. Yeah, another 3 months almost. 4 months. 3.5 months. I was talking to one of my buddies at the gym, and I said, I heard an interview with somebody one time, and he said, the older you get, the less it is about maximizing your workouts, and the more it is about making sure that you can come back to the gym tomorrow. And nice. I was like, ooh, that's exactly what we're talking about today. Yeah. That is exactly, except
that's what it should have been even when you're young.
I know.
To be completely honest.
I know. But it's different. It's different in productivity because in theory, the older you get, the more you can do with less. In fitness, it's the opposite. As you get older, things get heavier in your body. Your body's just not what it used to be. But as you get older, cognitively, you're capable of more.
Yeah.
Organizationally.
The brain is infinite. Yeah.
Right? So, if anything, as you learn how to do this more and more and more, you just showing up tomorrow is going to be way better than it was a year ago. And we just have to believe that, because if you don't believe it, you won't do it, obviously, right? If something does not seem worth it, it would be illogical to do it. But if you're falling into that position and you feel like you resonate with that, yeah, I have cycles. I feel terrible because I'm not doing it, and then I guilt myself into doing it, and then I overdo it, and it becomes the cycle. This is something potentially that's applicable to you.
What if I told you that consistency compounds more than you think, especially in the long term? You asked me about maximization and optimization. We have a couple minutes.
I have 2 minutes because I got to get out of here and I got to get into another room for a podcast episode.
Maximizing is trying to reach a pinnacle point in the future. I think maximizing is an infinite game that never ends. There's no one on earth who couldn't get a little stronger if they tried. So maximizing is a long game. Optimizing is how you maximize. So optimizing is what you do and don't do in the present based on what you're trying to maximize. So what are you optimizing for? Right now I'm optimizing for getting this said in the next 30 seconds so Kev can get out of here. I'm optimizing for the value that I can provide in the next 30 seconds. I'm maximizing the value of this podcast.
That's it. Okay. I don't know if that was a dramatic pause. You had a couple seconds left. I thought you might want to use it up.
No, I think that's it.
Perfect. All right, cool. Next Level Nation. If you are looking, see, that was a dramatic pause right there. If you are looking for a group of like-minded humans who are into personal development and talking about weird stuff and self-awareness and self-belief and hyper-consciousness, we have a private Facebook group called Next Level Nation. We will have the link below in the show notes.
And if you're looking for a book club,
nice.
Reset by Dan Heath. This will help you design your life in a way that will help you be consistent. Especially, when you're down and out, keep after it. Try to keep momentum. When you're really flying high, stay humble.
Boom. All right. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we do not have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Keep it consistent. Next Level Nation.